Right then, so here is your do now for today. There are some questions, some algebra questions. These are all things we have done before, either at the start of this year or last year maybe. I want you to expand these, expand and simplify those ones up there. Factorize this one. 3 and 4 are kind of opposites of each other in a way. 5, what sort of question is that? Yeah, if I write dots down there, what do I mean by dots? See if that helps you. And then obviously solve by factorizing it. Anyway, you know what you got to do. Off you go. You got 5 minutes. I want you to have a go at everything. Leave nothing undone. Have a go at everything. Don't just skip to the end of this and think you've done it. Do the questions. Have a go, no matter if they're wrong, and then just check it against my marking. Okay. Off you go. You got 5 minutes starting now. 2, 1, go! Blast off. Yeah, anyway. Year 9, question set 2. Let's do this. Do I know the answer to 1? Yes, I do. It is... Well, let's see. Why does that keep drawing on there? You need to multiply everything in the bracket by the thing at the front. So 4a times 2a. Do I do numbers first and then do letters? 4 times 2 is 8. A times a is a squared. How many people remembered that it would be squared? And then 4a times the 5. You're multiplying everything in the bracket by the thing at the front. Now 4 times 5 is 20. And of course there's an a. So it's like 5 lots of 4a. Well, that's going to be 20a, isn't it? So 8a squared plus 20a. Expand and simplify. So first thing, expand. So expand the first bracket first. 2 times x is 2x. No, not 2a. It would be 2x. 2x, Mr. Nias. You need to concentrate on what you're doing. 2x. And then 2 times negative 5 will be negative 10. Yep, minus times a positive. Then expand the second bracket. Now 3 times 2x. This is an ordinary positive 3, so 3 times 2x is 6x, and it's an ordinary positive 6x, so we put positive. And then 3 times 4 is 12. Right, now we can put a couple of these bits together, can't we? We can put the x's together to start with. And I've got 2x plus 6x. Remember, the sign in front is stuck to it. That tells you what to do, yeah? 2x plus 6x makes 8x. Not x squared, because all I'm doing is putting together 2 of them with 6 more to make a total of 8. Then I've got minus 10 plus 12. Okay, so start with this, minus 10 on my number line. Add 12, I get up to plus 2. You know, think about your number line. There's negative 10 down there, there's 0. If I'm adding 12, if we're adding, we're always going to the right. So it gets up to positive 2, that being 0 in the middle, right? Okay, so 8x plus 2, that is the simplify bit, squidging some stuff together. Expand and simplify here. Now, lots of people like to use FOIL for this. So firsts, outers, inners, lasts. First, multiply together the first thing in each bracket, the x times the x, which is x squared. Then the O, which is outers, the outside things, the things furthest apart. So x times minus 1. Well, that makes minus 1x, doesn't it? Or minus x. You don't really need the 1. I for inners. 5x. Oh, sorry, 5 times x is 5x, and that's an ordinary positive 5, so it's an ordinary positive 5x. And then 5 times minus 1, so it's a positive times a negative, which is negative 5. Okay, that's the expand. Now we simplify. Put together stuff you can, which are these 2 bits in the middle here. The minus 1x with plus 5x. Well, that makes a total of plus 4. Start at minus 1 and add 5. You get to 4. So that's plus 4x minus 5. Yeah, so x squared plus 4x minus 5. And then, of course, don't forget to make a little parrot with some little feathers coming out of his head. Squawk! Anyway, let's go back to a blue pen. Where are we then? Oh yeah, that was it. Factorize. Now factorizing is like the opposite of what we've just done here. We've been expanding these brackets. Factorize means to put into brackets. And look, x squared plus 4x minus 5, x squared plus 9x plus 14. These are very similar. These are quadratic expressions. Okay, and they will go into double brackets. Now you put an x at the start of each one, but the question is, what's the other thing that's going to go in each bracket? This one was plus 5 and minus 1. Well, look, the minus 5 we ended up with came from multiplying those 2 numbers together. So what I'm going to do is try and find a number that when you multiply them together, you get 14. So let's do factor pairs of 14. 1 and 14, 2 and 7, and that's it. They multiply together to make 14. So it could be either pair of those numbers. But where did the 4 come from? Well, that came from putting the 5 and the minus 1 together, basically adding them together. So we want the pair that adds together to make this number. So they multiply together to make the end one, but add together to make 9. And that is that pair there, 2 and 7. They're both positive, ordinary positive numbers, so you put them in the brackets. X plus 2, x plus 7. It could be, of course, x plus 7, x plus 2. Doesn't matter which way round the brackets go, as long as there's a plus 2 in one and a plus 7 in the other. Right, earlier I wrote DOTS, dots, difference of two squares. This one is a square number, because look, it's x squared, so it's clearly squared. 49 is one of my square numbers as well, because that's 7 times 7. Difference means subtract, so this is the difference of two squares. You have to recognize these. If you don't recognize it this time, try and remember it for next time. These will almost certainly come up in your GCSE at some point, and you have to spot them. There's just a way to write them out, and you need to remember it, which is put an x in each double bracket. It's quadratic again, it's x squared, or something squared. So you need double brackets. You do the square root of that number. It's a square number, so square root it. Now, square root of 49 is 7, because 7 sevens are 49. And you put plus 7, and you put minus 7. Difference of two squares. You put x plus something, x minus something. It's the same number. Yeah? Trust me. If you expand that out, you get x squared minus 49. It's equivalent. Yeah? Right, solve by factorizing. Now it says factorizing, so let's do what they said. Let's factorize. Let's do what it said before. Now 1 times 6 makes 6. 2 times 3 makes 6. Which pair adds together to make that number though? Well, that would be 2 plus 3. So we can rewrite our equation as x plus 2, because that's an ordinary positive number, and x plus 3. Tablet's gone a bit weird. X plus 2, x plus 3. And that equals 0, because my question equals 0, which is good. Now, if you want to solve this by factorizing, that's 1 mark there. Next, take each of those brackets and you make them equal 0. Just write them equal to 0, because that's what I want it to do. And work out what value x must have. Well, x plus 2 equals 0. Something, when you add 2 to it, you get up to 0. Well, that must be negative 2. You effectively change the sign in the brackets, especially on these easy ones. It's not quite that simple when you do harder ones, but these ones are pretty straightforward. Again, I want the second bracket to equal 0, so that will be x equals minus 3, because minus 3 plus 3 makes 0. There's my two answers, x equals minus 2, x equals minus 3. These quadratic expressions always have two answers. Now sometimes that's a repeated answer, so the same number, but virtually always they have two distinct different answers to them. Okay? Right, off to your main lessons you go. Off you go. Be free. Well, not free. Go to the lesson. All right. Ta-ra.